This is episode 4. We are now a month into this thing, and I'm excited. We're actually up here in Atlanta. We changed the view up a little bit. We were planning on going to Athens, but we made a last-minute change up here to Atlanta. So we rocking and rolling. But I got some of the best folks in this industry when it comes to the sales side of this. You have Bill Imfinger, who's on with us today. He's number one, or was number one with CFG last year. And I'm not sure which place he finished at Senior Select. What number was that, Bill?
7 last year.
7, okay. So Bill's a huge producer with us. T's obviously here to my my left, and he's done a lot of production these past couple of years. We've got Buddy. He's done production as well as building a team. And then we've got Denquavi Lay, and he's been a high volume producer here for a while. So really excited to ask them some questions on door approach, on some objections they're getting at the door, and then also going into the house and some of the objections that they're seeing there. And so this is going to be more of a training type video than us doing a interview style on somebody's existence or career in the insurance industry. So hopefully a lot of the newer agents can catch something from this and really learn some stuff. So guys, let's go ahead and dive into it. First off, T, introduce yourself, kind of talk about just a real brief introduction of how long you've been in the business and kind of what you got going on.
Okay.
So you might either have to move
Can you hear
closer
me?
or pull
Can
the
y'all hear me
mic
out
to
there?
you.
Can you hear me, Bill?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, my name's Antonio McCoy. Everybody calls me T. I'm going on 2 years.
You might either have to stand T up or
close to 2 years.
The mic there.
Close to 2 years. Approaching 2 years. This business has been great to me. It's changed my life, the people around me. Freed up a lot of time. I feel like the main thing is there's a recipe, and they give you the recipe, and that is getting leads and going to see the people. There's not really a cheat code. It's just really getting the leads, going to see the people, and being confident in what you're doing. And, there's going to be obstacles that you're going to run into, but you just have to be, prepared and set aside a savings for rainy days and just always go to work.
These guys are wild today. All right. So Buddy obviously has been on with me a couple of times. You guys all know who Denquavi is. Bill, go ahead and give a little introduction to yourself. Kind of talk about how long you've been in the business real quick, and just kind of where you might have came in at and where you're at now.
Well, yeah, Bill Imfinger's my name, and like I said, I've been doing it probably about 12 years now. I started with Chip and Robbie. They trained me a long time ago, and then I kind of left from them and went with a company out of California. They never really talked to us, didn't hold meetings or anything, and finally went back with Chip about 4 years ago with Senior Select, and been in the top 15 for the last 4 years. I was number 3 2 years ago, 7 last year. The last 2 years in a row, number 1 with Columbian Financial Group. And it really just been in sales all my life, so it's kind of second nature to me. But it's just like T said, you just grab your leads and go. I mean, if you do that and with a positive attitude every day, and you just keep going from 10 o'clock till dark, then good things happen. And again, back to the Senior Select model, we're all family. Everybody talks to everybody. You can reach out to anybody, not even on your team, and they'll give you some advice or help you with something you may be struggling with. People ride with me all the time that's not even on our group or team. The Senior Select model is great. I mean, it's just a family. Everybody's together. So everybody's in a good spot here. We got all the leads we can work. You can go anywhere you want to. So it's just a good thing. Senior Select's great.
It's funny, guys, and you can tell and I always talk about personalities, and we've talked about this on some of the past episodes, but why people are good at sales. If you bring a Bill on, you bring a T on, instantly they're going towards positive things. They're going towards, it's like they're introducing themselves and they're already telling you the wonderful thing. And it's like, guys, that's just so powerful. And so that's not mainly on what the training's on today, but I hope that you guys take that from that, just from a short snip, getting to listen to both of them, the first thing they're hopping on is just with positivity, things that they're doing throughout the week, where they found success and stuff like that. So I just love it. But let's go ahead and kind of dive into it. Cause like I said, today's going to be mostly door approach, and then we're doing some objections that we see in the house. And so the first thing I want to kind of go over is what everyone's door approach is. And so you get to hear that from 5 people, where I wrote, I think me and Lane did close to like, I can't remember the exact numbers, like 600 to 700 premium this week. Denquavi, how much premium did you do?
Yeah, like 1680.
Come up a little
Wow.
bit. We can't really hear you. There
I
we
did like
go.
1680.
There we go. Yeah, that's crazy. That's like
Awesome.
a month's worth in 1 week, right? That's great.
Jeez.
So the reason why I'm asking these questions is like, guys, when we're giving you this recipe, use it. You don't have to use it word for word, but like we're taking time out of our Friday, and these are some talented individuals that already did all their work for the week. And so like if you're a newer agent, I hope you're either writing this stuff down, watching this video later, but asking them these questions is what's going to get you guys in houses and writing applications. And so my first question is door approach. So Denquavy, you're walking up to a Google lead because that's about probably 80% of what people are working now.
Right.
Tell me what's your door approach on that, man?
So I feel like when you walk into a door, it's all about positivity, being energetic. I tell everybody you got to be energetic. You can't be like dull, and because people they're gonna be standoffish if you're standoffish.
Oh yeah. So walking up with a personality.
Definitely. So as I'm walking up to the door, I always wave at the house to kind of just.
Wayne did that this week, and I was laughing.
Even if I don't know nobody's there, I'm always gonna wave at the house. And
Shannon Davey taught us that.
right.
Yeah.
So, and everything's digitized. So with the Google leads, I use my iPad. I don't print my leads off no more.
Okay.
So when I go to the door, I say, "You started your enrollment online. I'm the area coordinator." They just send me out, see what I can do to help you out.
There you go. So nice and simple.
Simple.
Yeah. It catches their attention, and
Right.
it gives them a reason why you're supposed to sit down with them.
Right.
And what's funny is like you even saying that, so simple, right? But it's more about your delivery, your smile, how you're walking up to the door, how you're waving.
Right.
And like people don't realize how much of that you carry into the house, and that gets you in.
Right.
Because I might say something totally different. There's groups out there that are working the same leads as you, saying totally different things, getting into houses. And it's because of who they are. Like
Right.
it's Lane's amazing at this. He'll be like, there's a random car in the area. You know what I mean? He's bringing it up, but go ahead.
People are gonna let you in the house based off your personality, and people are gonna buy from your personality.
That's right.
It has nothing to do with sales. It has nothing to do with the product. They're gonna buy from who they like.
Right. And
I've
I've
been to
heard some of
houses,
your
they say-
lines at the door now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I know you got some slick ones.
Smooth.
Yeah. I've been out there with mostly everybody. So,
Smooth.
all right, Bill, tell us what's your door approach? Like because everyone's got that tall tales, like 2-sentence, 3-sentence thing that they're saying at the door on why they're there. What's that first thing that you're saying?
Well, first of all, you'll hear some of the same things. Successful people do a lot of the same things. And back to what Dan Quavey said, it's more. Let me talk about not really what I say, but what I do. It's all about your attitude, your energy, and your eye contact. Those things there. I mean, when I come out of the car, I'm fired up. I'm positive. I'm smiling. Smiling's big. You got to look them straight in the eye. Don't ever take your eye off of them. And back it up. Sometimes I won't even say. I'll just say I'm William with Senior Select, and I'm talking about the flowers in the garden, the nice car. What year model is that Chevelle you got out there? Or I'm trying to bring common ground without even talking about anything about insurance. So that's my main thing. But you do get the guy or somebody says, "What you here for? What's going on? Don't worry about my car." That kind of thing. And I just keep it short and simple. And that's kind of like what D-Lay said too. It's the KISS effect. If you've ever heard that, keep it simple, stupid. That's old school. But I just go in and kind of like the cards. I go in and say, "Listen, you requested some information from me, and I'm here to help you out." And I'm kind of stepping towards the door to get in the door.
He's
So
like,
that's kind of
sliding that foot in between the
sliding
door
the foot in
and
the door. Now Shannon
Yeah.
Davey does his finger pointing towards the couch, that kind of thing.
yeah.
And you can do that too, but I'm kind of like putting my foot towards the door and getting them to open the door. And then sometimes they'll don't want to let you in and things like that. And I guess you'll get to that part. We'll cover that in a few minutes. But just mainly, it's just I'm William with Senior Select, and you requested some information. I'm here to help you out with it. And
there you go. And that mine's very similar to that. Is I'm always like, "Hey, my name's Josiah Sweet. My job's so simple." And that's funny because I actually learned that from Dan Quavey. He always used to say they love it when you tell them it's simple, either over the phone or face to face. And so I'm showing up, "Hey, my job's real simple. You requested this information. I'm here to go over it with you. I promise you, after 5 minutes, you're going to know whether I can help you out or not." And then we all know, like, we barely get our door approached before we're already overcoming an objection that they're giving to us. And so that's why I say get comfortable with whatever that is. But really, this next part we're going to go over, which is overcoming the objections that they give you at the door, is going to be what gets you inside the door, not that 2-second 10-second
Yeah.
little speech that you gave them, you know. But go ahead, T. What are you saying at the door?
So when I approach the door, first thing is, your confidence and, kind of know which way you're going to go. So I usually say, hey, my name's Tony. You had enrolled
I
for
like
some
that,
state.
Tony.
I say Tony. I'll never say
They're like,
Antonio.
don't Facebook. He said, you ain't
Always
gonna
say
find me
Tony.
on Facebook with that. I'm just
And
kidding.
then I say you had enrolled for our state pilot speech program and you were accepted. I always use the word accepted
I got you.
because it kind of like,
Yeah.
when accepted, it's like,
Oh yeah.
accepted for what?
Right.
Then I say, well, there's one of three things that you could have been accepted for. One, you were probably looking for burial or life coverage. Then I say, two, you probably already have it. And, it might not be what's best for you. Or three, you qualify for money because who doesn't like money? And so I kind of trap them. It's like a booby trap. So it doesn't matter which way they go.
Yeah. He's like,
Because I
it's
just
one
want a
of those
response.
three. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, you're giving them
I just
options,
I
but
just
you're
want a
fine.
response.
And then
Tax-free
obviously,
rebates.
again, they're gonna say something to you, and you're gonna say something right back. That's your
Right.
next objection. So, and buddy, what are you saying when you show up to the door?
So I think the biggest thing for new agents, Josiah, and why they struggle at the door, if that's something they're struggling with, is, most of the time they're talking so fast.
Oh yeah.
They're trying to get so much out before the client can tell them no.
What's your bank account?
Right. And so immediately, I mean, the dead giveaway of the
Yeah.
salesperson is a fast talker.
Oh,
So
yeah.
for me, I'm in slow motion. So they're like, literally like, what is this guy here for? Like they're hanging on every word, like,
But it's really slow.
let's
motion.
get it
Yeah.
out. Yeah. And so instead of just vomiting, whatever their script is 100 miles an hour, just so that they can get it all out. Well, the client didn't even hear it. They already decided, oh, okay, this is a salesman. I'm going to just get rid of him. But for me, it's all about the 3 A's. I apologize, I announce, and then let them know they're accepted, basically. But the first thing I always do is, I'm like, I am so sorry to catch you off guard. So
Yeah, you
for
go.
whatever reason, they could be a jerk at the door, or their mindset is already, I'm going to get rid of this
Yeah.
idiot.
Yeah. Who's
right?
at my door?
So
Yeah.
when you
At least in
apologize,
our mind, that's what we think they're thinking. Then you got that sweet old lady. Come
Yeah.
on in.
well, when you apologize, it kind of disarms.
Yeah.
So, I'm like, I am so sorry to catch you off guard. Half the time they'll be like, oh, it's okay. Oh, that's all right. So they're already disarmed. I'm so sorry to catch you off guard. Then I announce, basically tell them who I am. My name's Buddy Lawhead. I work for Senior Select. So I apologize, I announce, and then I let them know they're approved,
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry to catch you off guard.
I get
My
them
name's-
approved for something.
My name's
I know what
Buddy
it is.
Lawhead.
Yeah.
I work for Senior Select. You had started the enrollment process online. The good news is you qualified for it. They just sent me out here to go over it with you real quick. I'll show you how to use everything, see if you guys get any money back, and I'll leave you my card. That way, if y'all have any questions or y'all need me for anything, y'all can call me back. I'm out here every week. So I think one good line is that basically I like to always take away anything they're going to say to me. The number one thing they want to say is, well, do you have a card?
Yeah.
I'll call you if I need you.
Oh yeah.
So I want to go ahead and get that out of the way so they can't. So I always say, and then I'll leave you my card. That way, if y'all have any questions,
After.
y'all can call me. I'm out here all the time.
There you go.
And so they can't say that back to me if I just said it to them, And then the number one thing that I feel like gets agents in the house or not is the last A, and that is action. You have to give them a call to action, because normally what's happening is you're going to say your spiel at the door and they're waiting for you to be done so they can respond to whatever you just said.
Oh yeah.
I don't want them responding to what I said, because it's always going to be, I don't have time. I don't remember filling that out. My daughter handles whatever. So I don't want them responding to that. What I want them responding to is my call to action. So after I've said my door approach, my call to action is, are y'all better sitting at the couch or the table? I want them responding to that.
Yeah. there you go.
Table or couch, or I'm wiping my shoes. Do you want me to leave my shoes on or take them off? I want them responding to something else other than what I'm there for.
Oh yeah. kind of
And-
catch them off. Give them, like you said, something to do instead of a question to get out of.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And they
I like
kind of
that.
forget about what we're going to respond to, because
Oh,
now
yeah.
they have to respond to that. And everything I present them with is all yeses. So
There you
I don't care if it's the couch or the table.
No,
And if they have to pick
I
one,
don't care if it's the hood of the car.
right.
Yeah, it could be anywhere. So,
Confidence and positivity definitely gets you to the door.
so and this real quick is and we're going to kind of hop into some of these questions and common objections you hear from the door. But what I'm going to do is for each one of these, I'm going to call on one of these guys and we're just going to hear what they would say back to this. And so, Bill, real quick, if you gave them your door approach, you say it's simple, this is what I'm here to help you with, and their response is, what's this about? What are you going to say back to that?
Well, I'm gonna say it's about the state approved program that you were requesting information on. And then again, I'm back to trying to get in the house and another thing too is a lot of people I've been running into, some of them don't want you to come in the house, and I'm okay with going out on the porch or out on the car or the tractor. I wrote one on the field on a tractor the other day. But I don't know. I just kind of keep it real simple and short. I know that didn't give you a straight answer on that, but it's I'm here to help you basically. So that's kind of what I say.
And it's funny because, and I love that you say that, Bill, because that's actually the better answer than going into every reason why you're there. How many times are you going to sell insurance standing in a doorway?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not very often, right? And so many times newer agents that come into this, the person asks, what's this about? And they just throw up like, you filled this out about life insurance. I'm here to help. You know what I mean? And it's like, and I watch it because all I do is train folks. And I even can get guilty of that sometimes myself, just like anybody. But that's it. When you're asked that, you're instantly going backwards. Like, hey, it's this simple. That's why I'm here to go over it with you. It's like you're trying to take it back to that seat. Right there. Yeah. What's up, buddy?
Frank, how are y'all? Good morning,
Yeah.
everybody.
What's up, Frank?
If any of y'all ever heard of what's called the direct approach from LIMRA, it's a old school get in the door statement that I learned many, many years ago. So,
Go. Sorry, I had
basically it just says, you know,
Awesome.
and a lot of times, especially new agents, they get stuck at the door like, well, what is this about? Well, why are you here? And they don't really know what to say. So they used to just teach us this. And this was back before we even had leads, when you just knocking on the door just without even a lead in your hand. So we'd say, Miss Jones, say, I'm Frank Buse. I'm a financial service specialist. If I could show you a way that I could provide thousands of dollars for your family for only pennies a day, would it be worth 5 minutes of your time? And it's simple as that. Okay.
That's right.
Shut up. Okay. And at that point, if there's any objections, any problems, then they're going to tell you, you know.
Yeah.
So I just thought Shannon asked me about that earlier this week. He had heard about it and he said, do you know what the direct approach is? And I said, I know exactly what it is. And I'm going off memory. I don't think I have it exactly right. I tried to Google it to make sure I had it correct, but I used to have it memorized word for word. But we learned that many years ago before we even had leads, when we had to generate our own prospects, and it works. You know, just don't be afraid to go talk to people.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
if you make a big deal out of something, and I know, Bill, you'll agree with me on this. If you make a big deal out of something, the customer's going to make a big deal out of it. Just don't make a big deal out of it. You know, act like you're on their side. You know, act like you're, hey, I'm trying to help you. Me and you against the company, buddy.
There you go.
I'm going to get you the best rate I can, and always try to side with them. And once you do that, you start to build that rapport, and then you start to build that trust. And then once you do that, then you got them. You know, so just don't make a big deal out of it. I mean, how many times have we all gotten leads written with big letters on there? I'm not buying anything.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a guaranteed sale every single time. I promise you. 10 out of 10, you're going to write them, because they already know they're going to buy. So that's why they start putting up objections before you even get out there, and they write on the card, hey, or write on the lead. I don't want to talk to anybody. You know, right. These are just tried and true things, but I just thought I'd mention that. That's like extremely 30-year-old school approach to getting in the door, but it does work, believe it or not.
Say it one more time, Frank.
So I say, hey, I'm Frank, Miss Jones. I'm Frank Buse. I'm a financial services expert, and I was out in your area visiting with a few people today. And, you know, let me ask you a question. If I had a way I could provide thousands of dollars for your family that would only cost you pennies a day, wouldn't it be worth 5 minutes of your time for a conversation?
Sounds good.
That's all you got to say. Okay. All you're trying to do is get in the door.
Yep.
I
Okay.
love how direct it is too. You know what I mean? Because it's like they
exactly
know
what they call it, the direct approach. This is like 30-year-old stuff, guys. I'm telling you, I was trained on this before we even had leads. When I was out here knocking on doors, collecting my route, this is, I would just go to the next door neighbor and I would tell them this, and I'd get in the house and I'd sell them. It had no leads at all and was out here writing business like crazy.
you were creating though that with that, you know what I
Right.
mean? It's like you were saying something that's catchy enough to them that made them want to engage you. You know what I mean? And
It's
that's
a
all.
hook. You got to have a hook. Okay. Basically, that's
Create a need.
Yeah. Create a need.
And now that I know you're on here, Frank, I'm actually going to ask you some of these too, because I had
Right.
no idea you were hopping on with us today. But so like, that's not me. What were you going to say back to that one, Frank? Like what? So if somebody says to you, no, that's not me. Like, cause you know this, how many times we roll up to a house and it's a 56-year-old female and you're looking at a 56-year-old female and their response to you is, oh no, that's not me. That's not my card.
Right.
And like, you almost haven't even asked them if it's them yet. They're already telling you that. What is your response to that?
To me, I would just simply say, well, Miss Jones, I get it. And, who knows what happened here, but here's the situation. I'm out here. I've got something really, really important that I need to speak with you about, something that could affect your future and for you and your family. And I just need about 5 minutes of your time. My job is just to visit with each person for just a couple of minutes, just to go over a couple of things. Could we sit down and talk for a minute? And you're just at that point, you're just trying to, I just act like I just didn't hear him. I would just keep on going, whatever I had to do to get sit down, because you're not going to sell them out on the porch. I'm telling you now, you might write 1 out of 100 on the porch. You just not. You got to get sit down. They can't be having the TV blaring, watching One Life to Live or whatever. You've got to get them down, get them to sit down and listen to you. Okay. How many times have you gone in the house and Fannie Mae's in there? She's got All My Children and One Life to Live blaring wide open. And look, you might as well just come back if they're watching their story. Old people call it their story. Okay. So that tells you I'm old too, but anyway, they call it their story. So you got to get sit down with them where they'll listen to you. Okay. Yeah. And once you do that, then the hard part's over with. Okay. You're going to sell them if you can get them to sit down, but you got to get them to sit down in a relaxed environment where where they listen to you. But if they've got 9 million things going on, you got to get all that out of the way and get them to listen to you. That's the biggest thing. But right. Any objection, when people come at you with things, you just got to let it roll off your back and keep going. I didn't send that card in. Hey, man, I get it, Miss Jones, but you know what? I'm here. Let's go ahead and talk while I'm here. You probably got another one of these in the mail. You might get one next week, but let's go ahead and talk while I'm here.
Right. And probably got one sitting on the coffee table.
Right. But
one
you don't want to get confrontational with them, Josiah, and say, well, yeah, you did send this in. This is your handwriting.
Right. You can't get in an
all
argument.
you do at that point is piss them off. So
one thing that you did though, Frank, when you were overcoming that, and I guarantee I've got a list of like 15 objections at the door here that we're going to ask about, but I guarantee for every single one of these, you would do the same thing. And that's you changed the sound of your voice. Yes. So like when somebody comes at you, it's just like what you said, confrontationally. You don't want to bring confrontation back to them. Right. You want to kind of settle them down, and you lowered your voice. Well, miss, it's really simple. I'm here. And it's like, you know what I mean? You brought them down. You brought that kindness back. And so, but here, next one, let's move on to, they aren't here right now. So Dinquavy, what's your response real quick to somebody that responds with, oh, that person's not here. Mr. James isn't here right now. What are you saying back to that?
I mean, ain't too much you can say. Just basically asking them, do you know what time he'll be here?
Feel like an investigative reporter.
Right.
You're like, all right, so what time does he get back?
Right.
Where does he work?
Where's
okay, does he normally work Monday through Friday? I'm asking all types of questions because I need to write on the back of that lead card or on my electronic lead version when that person's going to be there, so I can effectively come back and see him. And if you're talking to somebody that lives there, they're going to know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And a lot of times too, what it allows you to do is, and I'm not telling everybody to do this, but experienced agents can do this, is I'll be like, hey, tell them I'm going to call them and leave them a voicemail. Tell them to give me a call right back. I'm good at getting on the phone with people and getting in their face. Not everybody's good at that. So if you're getting bad results doing that, don't do that. You know what I mean? Come back at the time when they're going to be there face to face. But like, for instance, yesterday, I think we closed 500 through Zoom calls and it was all done over the phone. So, you know what I mean? Like you can you can follow up with people later in the week and still drum out a lot of business for people that aren't there right now or can't work.
Right.
And that's kind of
Josiah, how many people are using door hangers or the sticky notes they stick on the door if they're not there?
we
I
actually have a
definitely use
lot of
those.
folks using that.
Because that works, because here's the thing, there's people get so many deliveries and things through Amazon or whatever these days. They don't know. They think somebody's just coming by to bring them something. Write your name and number down, get them to call you. If they call you and you answer and they hang up, then you know they're home. Just drive over there. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all you got to do. Or if they call you and you don't even want to talk to them about it over the phone, just drive over there. Because you
Make
know they're home at that point when they call you.
Make sure if you're somebody listening to this and your door hangers don't, but just it's a delivery message. Make
Yes.
sure that that's the ones that you have. Don't go create your own that's giving them a whole spiel about why they missed you. Just make it very simple and make it look like a package has been missed, and that's
Exactly.
your best.
That's all you got to do. Simple as that. Simple.
That's right. So they aren't here. All right. So buddy, I've got one for you. I thought this was about health insurance. What are you going to say back to that?
Oh, it definitely is.
Yeah, it can be.
We do everything.
Right.
So first off, right away, all these agents, especially new agents, one thing that you want to be able to do whenever you're talking to the client at the door, in the house, whoever pauses first is the loser.
That's
Right. So if they hit you with something that you weren't ready for, and you're like, you lost.
Yep.
Right. So they're shutting the door. You might even wait. No, they're shutting the door. So something that I like to do, and I tell my agents to do, if they don't have a quick wit, or maybe they're new, so they don't have all the knowledge yet, just to buy time, is called gap. And after whatever the client says at any point, the only 3 words that they should respond with just immediately is great, awesome, or perfect. Gap. So
Yeah.
great, awesome, perfect. So if they're like, oh, that's not me, perfect. And then keep going. Awesome. Oh, I don't remember filling that out. Oh,
Great.
perfect. Don't even worry about it. And so you have that, if nothing else, right away to hit them with. And hey, that's not me. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to take care of you first, and then I'll get to them when we're done.
Yeah.
And you
What
just
time
keep
are they
going.
getting here?
So what was my objection again? I
Oh.
thought this was about health insurance.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Sometimes the Lord sends me to the right place. So it is. And it's actually about all your benefits. So we'll tackle the health, and then we'll handle everything else. And then always it's all about money, guys. So always throw it in there. And then we'll see if you guys qualify to get any money back at the end.
And that's
always
just such a catch.
strings them along.
Get your money back.
You
That
know what I mean?
people respond to that, especially the type of people that fill out leads and not trying to classify them, but like they're under a certain income level. So money is very, very tight. And really for everybody, I don't care how much money you're making. People are going to listen when you're talking about saving money or getting money back, but especially somebody that's making $1,000 or $2,000 a month. You know?
And that never changes. Even like when Frank was talking, you can boil down what Frank was saying to, he's there to save them money
That's right.
or make them money. It's all
Pennies a
about
day,
money.
baby.
You
Right,
could go
Frank?
to the door. I think you could go to the door, a new agent, and the client's staring at you and they're like, what is this about? You could literally say, my job is to save you money.
That's right. Yeah.
And then
I increase
right.
people's social security checks. Not physically, but by cash flow reasons. But all right. So next one, guys. I didn't fill that out. All right. So real quick, T, what are you saying back to that? When somebody comes to you and says, you knock on the door, you give them your best spiel, you got your smile. And if y'all saw T at a house, guys, I know he's been a little timid right now, but that joker throws a personality on like you've never seen before. So what if somebody responds to you, I didn't fill that out. What are you saying back?
I kind of piggyback off like what Buddy said. Perfect. Good. Doesn't matter. Your address qualifies.
No.
So
It's
I
funny.
always tell them that the address qualifies.
You're like, I couldn't help you if you did.
Yeah, right. So you kind of don't want to give them a chance for an objection, like he said. So
Yeah.
if they say, I didn't fill that out, or, that's not me, I always say, well, that's fine. That's good. That's perfect. You may still qualify because this address qualifies, this region.
You're bringing it back to them.
Right.
I like it, man. All right. Next question. I really don't have time right now. Frank, what are you saying back to that? When somebody's at the door, you gave your spiel and their response is, hey, I really don't have time right now. I'm busy. What are you saying back to that?
I'm going to go back to my original statement. Ms. Jones, you know, if I could show you a way that you could provide thousands of dollars for your family, wouldn't it be worth 5 minutes of your time? Let's sit down and talk about this. All you want to do, I always use 5 minutes. 5 minutes turns into 30, turns into an hour. Okay. Because them telling you they really don't have time is just an excuse. They're just putting up trying to get you to go away. Okay. So you just let it roll off your back and just say, this only takes about 5 minutes. Could we just sit down for a second? And just keep on going, you know, just keep right on going. Great. Awesome. I understand this will only take 5 minutes. Also, Miss Jones, this is only going to take 5 minutes to go over this. Let's sit down let's go sit down for a second so we knock this out. That's all you got to do. And don't make a big deal out of it. Change your voice inflection, change your voice tone. Don't be confrontational. I understand, Miss Jones. That's awesome. I'm just here to help you. Look, this will only take 5 minutes. Can we go sit down at your table?
Yeah,
it's hot out here. I need to sit down for a minute. Whatever, you know.
I think everyone
they'll do it. You know,
that's responding to all of these objections, y'all, is based on like, hey, right now, okay, I don't care what you say, going around that right now, and that's why these guys are so effective. Is these people are coming at them with objections, and they're not saying, oh, now's not a good time. Okay, well, what time later? And guys, I'm sitting here saying this, and Lane can speak to this because I did it like 4 or 5 times this week. I didn't fight him back on that. And then I get in the car and make an excuse to him about, oh, I already knew those weren't the people that I was going to be able to help. You know what I mean? And really, no, you just didn't feel like fighting them tooth and nail to be able to get in. But that's what these high volume producers are doing, guys. They're getting into those houses that you're not. And so when they say it's not a good time, they're getting in with that 5-minute speech, but now they might change their octave, like Frank said, or mention different things, but that's getting them in the house. And so, all right, Bill, real quick, what are you saying back when you knock on the door and you tell them and they get it out of you that now they know why you're there and they're saying, hey, my kids handled that. What is your response going to be to that, Bill?
Well, that's an easy one. And first of all, you can see a common denominator here as everybody's covering the objection with an agreement statement. And that's right. The thing is, it's old school. Frank knows that. You always agree to them, or you say you're perfect or it's good, and then you move on to your covering your objection. But you kind of calm the sales barrier down by agreeing with them. So you always agree with them to kind of bring that barrier down, and then you come back at them. Okay, back to the well, I need to talk. My daughter makes all the decisions. Well, great. Let's go ahead and call them now. I'll grab my phone and start trying to call them. Now, Shannon, I told him that one time in the class, and he thought it was pretty cool too, because a lot of people, they won't do that. But now a lot of times they won't call them. They're working. You can't call them at work. But I want to get the daughter on the phone right then and explain to her who I am, when I can meet with her too. And again, when she says, well, my daughter, I have to talk with my daughter about that. Well, that's great. Let's go ahead and call her now, because I want to introduce myself to her. And see if she's had any questions for me. And then if she's busy, we can schedule a time that I can meet both of y'all over here at the same time.
And I love that because you're isolating. That's exactly what I do. So and I guarantee that's exactly what a lot of the guys do here. It's you isolated exactly what they said, and then you found out if that was the real issue.
Real reason.
Something else. Because if their response back is, oh, no, I don't really, you just let me call her. I'm like, ma'am, correct me if I'm wrong, but did you go to school for insurance to be, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that, but like in my mind, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what are you going to tell her that I'm going to be the person she needs to talk to? So like, hey, let's hop on the phone real quick with her, see what we can get done. And then you'll find out when they say, no, it was actually something else. It's not that they talk to their kids. And so you're trying to come over something else.
So Josiah, let's flip it around. Let's say, what if they don't want to call the daughter or the son or whatever? Or what if you don't want them to call them? How do you handle that? So what I would say is this. I say, Miss Jones, I understand. I got a mama too. And, if she called me up and asked me about this, I'd probably tell her not to worry about it, because I love my mama and I feel guilty about it. But let me ask you something. This is the last thing that you're ever going to be able to do for your children. Would you really want to leave this burden behind on them? Would you really want them to have to worry about this? Let me ask you a question. If the good Lord would have called you home last night, what would your family be doing right now? Okay. Yeah. And that's a way to reverse it.
Yeah.
not really be confrontational, but kind of back the hearse up a little bit and let them know, hey, look, this is important stuff. And, you know, calling the daughter again, that's 9 times out of 10. That's just, like you said, that's an excuse for something else. They're just any excuse they can to get out of buying. But, you
That's
know,
right.
I can get around that all day long, calling the kids, because
Yeah.
that's just,
Well, you brought it to emotion, Frank.
Yeah.
And so that it's funny because we always used to talk about core: children, occupation, recreation, emotion. You get them on emotion and you hit them with the thought of, okay, yeah, you're right. Right now I'm in a situation where that bill is getting left to my loved ones. Or I don't even know what I have. So I don't know what's getting left to my loved ones. And that's why we're there to help them. And so you're bringing it back to that. And I love that, because that's getting away from us talking to that kid, because we all know most 90% of the time that's not the issue.
Yeah.
That's just the thing that their kid told them to be able to get out of having to talk to people. And I'll tell you guys this: if you're not doing your due diligence and walking up with a good heart and trying to help those people, I hope you don't use any of this type of stuff. I hope you're all people that are going out and using these little nuggets we're giving you for good. Use these things for good, guys. All right. So next question. All right. I'm going to ask Denquavy on this one. Hey, Denquavy, I already have life insurance, man.
Okay, that's perfect. Well, I wouldn't be able to help you out if you didn't. And I just kind of
Used
like
it.
that. And then I say,
Who brought us that originally?
Aiden.
Aiden.
I use that
bro.
every time though.
Dude,
But
couldn't help you if it didn't. Aiden.
but then I'm kind of, so I work through the state. I got about 30 different companies that I represent. My job is just to come out and see who you actually have that insurance with and see what I'm able to do to help you out.
There you go.
Simple.
Put it back on them, and then you say, here's my personality. Let me in.
Then and then if they kind of come in with objections, I say, well, like I said, we got about 30 different companies. Who's your insurance with? And maybe one of my companies already.
Yeah.
And then once I figure out who they have their insurance with, I kind of say, well, that's why you were blinking in our system. Based off the company that they have. Like if they have Lincoln Heritage, I say, okay, well, that's why you were blinking in our system. Lincoln Heritage is kind of expensive. My job is to come out and see if there's anything we can do to save you money.
That's right. And guys, and I preferenced before we got into this part of it, of make sure you're doing the right thing. Because guys, that's one thing that I've tried to preach to our guys, and that I love when they correct me even on stuff. But knowing the right product to write for folks and making sure that you're helping them either save money. And that's one thing that Frank talked about this week is it's okay to hit on some trigger words and to use some, I don't want to say shiesty, because I don't think that's the right word, but like kind of reasons to get them to sit down with you that are like trigger words, right?
Right.
And it's not so much bashing what they have, it's telling the truth.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if you're going to put a clause in your policy, it's my right to tell the client. If you're going to charge a client $20 more than another product, it's my job to tell the client. You know what I mean? That's right. And especially with the carriers we have.
Right.
I mean, we have some of the best carriers in the market, all the carriers practically in the market. So, all right, next question. And I'm going to ask Bill on this one, because I guarantee he's out in the country a little bit more. So he probably sees this one more, or I could be wrong. He might be working more city, but the sign says no trespassing, Bill.
That's a lot out here.
Yeah, that's
I don't see it. I keep on going. I mean, those are outside interference that I don't even see it. I go on up to the door with a smile on my face, and the guy even said a couple of days ago, "You didn't see that no trespassing sign?" Well, yeah. I mean, I'm here to drop something off to you, and you just, I don't know. Those are just things you don't really. If I'm at the house, I'm going to the door. So that's the thing. And you walk up with a smile on your face and energy. It kind of sometimes carry the guy that's real angry and all that. You just keep a big smile on your face and just apologetic. I'm sorry, sir. I didn't mean to step on your toes there. I'm just here, and while I'm here, can I go ahead and give you the information that you were looking for? Just kind of just agreeing with them and apologetic.
That's right. And it's, again, we're moving past the objection. We're apologizing. We're agreeing with what they're saying. But then we're also believing in our heart, hey, I'm not trespassing. You filled this thing out. I'm here for a reason. Like, you're crazy. You're trespassing on my time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in the nicest way possible, but that's my attitude walking up. Because if I let every person that says a comment like that to me at the door get to me, man, good luck getting to the end of the day. You know what I mean? Especially in this.
Would never make no sense.
No, that's right. All right. So, I don't like letting people in the house. Buddy, what are you going to say back to that when someone says, I don't like letting people in my home?
I'm always like, oh, perfect. Me neither. You're just like I am. So what we'll do, I'll do us both a favor. It actually feels great out here. I'm going to leave you with all this stuff, show you how to use it right out here on the porch. And then I'm going to leave you my card. That way, if y'all have any questions, y'all can call me anytime. I'm out here every week.
I like it.
And then on the trespassing thing, I mean, I don't think any real agent even notices those
No.
signs. The only sign that is a sign for a sale. But if anyone ever says something to me like, didn't you see that no trespassing sign? I'm like, I sure did. And you know, those no trespassing signs, that's for people that aren't family, but
Yeah.
we're family. So
Say, by the time I leave you,
yeah.
you're going to be saving me in your phone as my son.
Yeah.
I actually get that done sometimes. I'll save myself on their phone. My son, the insurance.
Joe
man.
brings adoption papers.
Yeah, that's right. So let's go ahead, and I think Ben's actually out there because I heard Ben chime in. And I love this because Ben's a high volume sales producer too. What are you saying when I only do it through appointments, Ben? What's your response to that?
Hey, sorry, I had to get you off mute.
Nah, you're good. So what are you saying back to, I only do these types of things through appointments? What are you saying back to that?
You know, like they said, you know, you have to agree. When they say that, I'm like, oh, that's all right. I understand that. I like to do all my stuff on appointments too. I was just in the area. It's gonna take just a few minutes. We can sit on the porch or on the couch. Whatever's good for you.
I love it, man. And so, I love Ben.
Most of the stuff is just surface level stuff.
And it's every person here. Like, guys, if I were to go out with each one of these individuals for a whole day, I guarantee 3 to 5 of them, they're telling the client, this is only 3 to 5 minutes. This is only 3 to 5 minutes. This is only going to take 3. This is only going to take a second. I'll even get so tricky to where if I end up somehow on the phone with them, I'll tell the person, oh, well, I have another appointment at this time. So they think that when I'm coming, it's only going to take 10 minutes. Right. You know what I mean? I'll be like, well, I can slide through. I got a 4:30 and a 5, but it's like 4:10. I can come through real quick and drop off the information with you. And it just gives them less. It gives them like less to kind of confirm to, or less to have to sign up for, because they're signing up their time. Right. So guys, use that. Every single person in this group's using that. So, all right, guys, let's get to some objections in the house. So now I always go over this with everybody. We've done our different parts of the sale, right? We got in the house. We got over the objections at the door. We've worked our way in the house. That's the first sale in what we do. The next sale is getting them to like you. Sometimes that can start at the door, but a lot of times that starts once you sit down with them and you start getting to break down their personality, your personality, and start finding some common ground and connecting. The next one is show them you're the professional. So then you go into your pitch. Your pitch might be starting off talking about insurance, or it might be talking about final expenses. Each person has a little bit different pitch that they're using in the house, but you're getting them to show that you're the professional. The next one is finding out their situation and you pitching them on your solution. So that's the next part of the sale. And then that last part of the sale is getting their personal information. It's really that if you break it down that simple, that you're trying to get to the next part of the sale, and I've already accomplished this part, these houses become so easy. And so many times, and Isaiah got on there and talked about that this week. Bryson got on the group me and talked about it this week. But I'll get on the phone with people that are struggling, and I'll just say, guys, go back to making a friend. Like literally just go up to the house, get in the door, make a friend, have a good time, convince yourself you're having a great time, and then make sure the people you're talking to are having a good time. And so part of that is your personality and everything, but getting personal information like social and bank account is that last piece of the puzzle. And so now we're going to get into what their responses are when you're trying to get that personal information, because you did all the other parts successfully, right? All right. So the first one I got here, and Frank, I'm going to bring you on for this one if you're still out there. I can't afford that. What are you going to say back when they respond with, I can't afford that?
Say, well, Miss Jones, how can you afford not to?
Yeah.
I mean, that I would just turn it around. How can you afford not to? Burial expenses are running about $10,000 to $12,000 these days, and that goes up every year. And the last thing you want to do is leave this behind on your children. And right. I would always just flip it around. How can you afford not to?
Right.
That was good.
And I kind of try to figure out are you paying for the insurance currently, is that why you can't afford it?
Yeah, that's right. It's like if and that's what it's so funny. I always say this. So many times when you're getting an objection at the end, it's because you didn't do a good enough job at one of those 5
Uncovering
things that
something.
I just talked about. You didn't even find out what their real situation is
Right.
because and this is what Frank's, I know, good at, because I've talked to him about insurance a million times, and I guarantee Bill's good at, is finding the solution that's easily makes sense in their head on how you're helping them.
Right.
And then you're not going to get that response.
Right.
You know what I mean? But that does happen. I can't afford it. Well, yeah, exactly like Frank said. You can't not. Like, what do you mean? You can't afford not to have this. Or if they don't have any insurance at all, I'm going to that. I'm saying, look, you filled this card out. You've been thinking about this for a while.
Right.
Like, you've been thinking about this for a long time. You're in your 60s.
You'll figure out that they are already.
You could say, Josiah, you could say, Miss Jones, insurance is based on 2 things. That's your age and your health. And right now you qualify for the best price you'll ever be able to get. So just go ahead and take care of this while we're here.
There you
And
go.
just tell them that you can, if they can't afford it, like I said, they got to be paying on something currently.
Yeah, but also it's like that. There are people that are hesitant to starting their first policy.
Right.
Because we definitely see that. I know we get a lot of replacements because we're really good at analyzing people's business.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're writing that first one, you do have to get them to trigger on it. And what Frank just said is really powerful. You're the youngest and healthiest you're ever going to be for the rest of your life right now. And so you're on a fixed income. We need this life insurance to be taking up the smallest portion of that fixed income because your income's not going up.
Right.
And so
And
every year that you wait, you say you can't afford it now.
Yeah.
You can only afford less in the future.
Right.
You know what
And
I
I
mean?
always say some coverage is better than no coverage.
That's right.
Exactly. You could say, Josiah, Miss Jones, right now you do qualify. While I'm here and while you qualify, let's go ahead and lock in something, even if it's that bronze plan, because you can always increase it later. Okay.
That's right.
Sometimes you don't always want to try to hit the home run on the first sale in the house. Like Josiah said, maybe get them started with something. Then when you go back, and I always call back on my customers, always, then I'd go wipe out everything else in the house the second time I went out there a lot of times. But you got to develop that relationship. Once you get them to trust you, then you can get all the business in the house. But
That's right.
You got to get them to trust you first.
That's right. All right, guys, so this is a response, and I'm going to bring Bill back in for this one. I'm just going to leave it how it is. I'm comfortable with how it is, Bill. I think I'm just going to leave it how it is. What's your response back to that, Bill?
You mean if they already got the policy already?
Yeah. So like say they gave you their situation. They already have insurance. You're pitching them on how you can save them $20 a month and increase their coverage by $2,000. And they're looking back at you in the face saying, I'm just comfortable. I think I want to leave it how it is. What are you saying back to Bill's like, that's never happened to me.
Yeah, that's a tough one there. Because if I'm saving them money or giving them more coverage, I'm not going to let them say no to me at that point.
Well, that's what we're trying to do right here. But what are you saying back if they say that, Bill?
I mean, I'll just give them a flabbergasted look and just like, well, are you sure you understand what I'm explaining to you here? And I'll try to go back over it again and say, here's what we're doing. We are saving you either $10 more a month or $15 more a month, or we're adding on $2,000 in coverage. And I usually try to up the coverage. That sounds always better to them. And I say, look, your beneficiary hit the lottery today for $2,000 in a way. And they laugh about that, just kind of make it kind of light to them. You got to say something that they grasp onto. And you do have to create a sense of urgency, like Frank was saying on the other situation, to where as if they say they're good, then you create the sense of urgency. Look, you're getting $2,000 more coverage for the same amount in payment, then I don't know if I can accept that answer,
That's right. And so one thing, though, the reason why this doesn't happen to you, Bill, and when somebody says that to you, you look at them so flabbergasted, is because and it's like the connection. If the only people that are getting that, and guys, this happened to me last week. It still happens to me here and there because sometimes I don't have a knowledge issue. I have a connection issue with people and houses. And so when you're getting that answer of I'm comfortable, I'm satisfied, I just want to leave it how it is, then you didn't connect with them good enough. Otherwise, that wouldn't be the answer. Because obviously, if you're putting them in a better situation, it's a no-brainer. It's kind of like you said, you're looking at them flabbergasted. So, what are you about to say?
I had a question for Frank. Frank, what do you say when they say, well, I don't have any, I got all my money in savings. I don't need a life insurance policy. Or I got money in the bank. I don't need life insurance.
So I would always come back with, Miss Jones, I understand that. And that's great that the Lord's blessed you to be able to put back money and save. But here's the thing. There's only one asset in this world that a nursing home or a hospital or medical bills can't touch, and that's a life insurance policy. That will be paid directly to the beneficiary. Any assets you have in the bank can be taken away. And also, let me ask you this, Ms. Jones, or you can come back with something like this. You can say, well, Ms. Jones, we all have to put money back in our savings for different things. Your refrigerator might tear up, your car might tear up, you might need a new roof on your house. You never know what's going to come up and happen. Wouldn't it be a blessing to be able to use that money for those things if you needed it, and know that your final expenses would still be taken care of if you have this insurance? You can't go wrong. And I'd always tell them, Ms. Jones, I've delivered a lot of claim checks, and I've never had a family put one back in my hand and say, Mama didn't need this, or Daddy didn't need this. It will be used and it will be needed. Because here's the thing, we're all going to die. That's a fact. That's something we cannot prevent, evade, or avoid. Okay, that's what they used to teach us. Death is something that you can't predict, prevent, evade, or avoid. Okay, we used to have to memorize those 4 words. We used to have this little thing, had them in big, bold, black letters, and they would teach us to tell people that. But it's true. Okay, and so I would always use that. And so I would say, look, we're all going to die. I'm going to die. You're going to die. It's just a eventuality. So wouldn't it be comforting to you having that peace of mind? Again, that's what we're selling, guys, peace of mind. Okay, because insurance is not something you can feel or touch. It's not like a car or a whatever, vacuum cleaner or whatever. This is something, this is peace of mind is what we're selling. So you have to keep hammering that home with them. And I would always use something like that, even though you got money in the bank, that's okay, but you still need this. Even the richest people in the world, I would even make commentary like Donald Trump even has insurance. Some of the richest people in the world still have insurance.
The crazy part too is, Frank, and I think in life, like life experiences and living through stuff is what we end up using in houses. And so, like, for instance, when my brother passed away, it made it a lot easier to talk about life insurance because his family got paid out close to $2 million. You know what I mean? And like when stuff strikes home to you and you've actually heard those situations or you've heard it happening, it makes it so easy to talk about it in the house because it's real to you. And until that happens, sometimes some younger agents that they don't have a personal story like that yet. Then it's a little bit harder because I'm not going to lie, my first 3 years in insurance, I didn't even have insurance on myself. You know what I mean? And I know that sounds crazy, but I didn't. And I was just out there slinging it. And then all of a sudden something happens to your family and you see the real importance in it. And then you actually start selling more insurance because you actually believe in what you're out there selling. And so, guys, this is real. And like Frank said, there ain't a single person that you're bringing a check to when somebody's passed away that's like, oh, this isn't going to solve some of the problems that we're having right now.
I will guarantee you something right now, Josiah. Half the people that write insurance with us don't have a dime of insurance on themselves. I guarantee you.
That's so crazy.
How many times have I talked to you about you have to believe in what you are doing? If you don't believe in it yourself, how are you going to sell it to somebody else? You got to believe in it, man.
And guys, like I can give you incidents over incidents. Dan Quavy had a family member like 6 months ago pass away. That the insurance policy paid out. And it was one that he wrote on the family member. Right. And it's like, guys, this is real. Like, and I know sometimes you're thinking because of the income that we make and what we do for a living, $10,000, $20,000 isn't some crazy amount, but man, is it? It is. I don't care. Like Dan Quavy, when that came through to cover the funeral, that was like to where nobody's sitting there having to even ask the question. Right. Who's covering this?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it was already taken care of.
Right. That was actually 2 weeks ago.
No, you had another one that was like
that was my uncle. That was my uncle 2 weeks ago.
So you had another one.
My uncle 6 months ago, my cousin 2 weeks ago.
Oh my goodness.
But both of them had life insurance.
Both of them. And no arguments with amongst family. No. Right. And guys, like, and I'm only mentioning all this. I'm the worst. Like I'm not a guilt seller. I don't go into house guilt selling. Right. I go into the house storytelling. This is my story. This happened to me. This happened to my friend. And now I have no issue really delivering that message to them in a core and like a more of an emotional way.
It kind of builds from an emotional standpoint.
That's right. It's an emotional thing. All right. So
true story.
Frank, actually everybody, I like to see what everybody says on this one. because this is the one I hear a lot. I don't make decisions same day. I don't make decisions. I like to sleep on things. What are you saying back to that, Frank?
Ms. Jones, I understand, but again, insurance is something that's based on your age and your health. And, you know, I was talking with Miss Jones down the street the other day, and she wanted to think about it and talk about it and had to think on it. And you know, unfortunately, she went to the doctor a few days later and found out she needed to have stents put in, and she didn't qualify for the insurance anymore. And she called me and wanted to get it, and I couldn't do it for her. So we need to go ahead and take care of this now. You know, death is something that we know is going to happen for all of us, no matter what. We can't evade it. So let's go ahead and let's take care of this while I'm here.
And
Or
use
you
that.
could say, right now is Ms. Jones, this is the enrollment period for Troup County, and I'm only here 3 days, or today's my last day here. And, you know, you get a special discount because of the enrollment period. So we need to go ahead and take care of this while I'm here.
That's right.
Just whatever. I mean, don't make a big deal out of it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
So on this one, Josiah, what was it? I want to think about it.
Yeah. So, well, it's like I need to. They're like, I don't make the decision same day. I normally need to sleep on stuff. What's y'all's response to
Gotcha.
that?
I mean, so it's literally not even an objection, because they're like, oh, well, I don't want to make a decision right now. Perfect. So going back to what you said earlier, Josiah, and any new agents or struggling agents, no one on this call or at Senior Select, I don't feel like any life insurance agent, period, no one has a closing problem. No one.
No.
The only problem is a connecting problem. That's it. Like, you don't suck at closing, you suck at connecting,
Yeah.
and that's it. And I just wanted to stress that again, because it's so important. So just know that if you're not closing, you're not connecting. But on that one,
Hey, Ben, could you put it on mute real quick? I think
Ben.
that's yours right there. We're hearing some background noise. All right, go ahead. Ben.
So Josiah, on that one, and honestly, like I like Bill said, keep it simple, stupid. I do the same objection overcoming. Doesn't matter what they say. So I prescribe to assigning homework for my clients. So whatever objection they say, oh, my kids handle all that. Oh, I need to think about it. I don't ever make decisions today. Okay, perfect. So here's what I'm going to do. Once an agent will put that line into their presentation, they will never not close again. All right, well, here's what I'm going to do. If you say that, and I don't know why some new agents are scared to say this, but okay, here's what I'm going to do. And then you tell them what you're going to do. You know, you're confident, you're looking them in the face. But if you say it like this, I promise you will never not make a sale. Not like, oh, you'll make a lot of, no, you'll never not make a sale. Okay, at least get them to let you get it approved for you. If you say it like this, here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get us approved on whatever company has the best plan in the country for us right now. I'm going to bring that back to the house, and we're going to look at it together. And if we like it, awesome. We'll have it start out that next month. But even if you get the Cadillac of those policies, it doesn't mean we have to do it. But I'm always going to make sure you guys have the best options.
Yeah.
Just
In 10 years, no one has ever said, no, I don't want to do that. When you say, here's what I'm going to do, I'm going to, no matter what, I'm going to get us approved for the whatever company has the best one in the country. I'm going to bring that back to the house, and we're going to look at it together. And if we like it, then they'll have it start out that following month. Every time, the only response they're going to have is, okay, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Because number one, they feel like they're not making a decision today. They, in their mind, they're like, okay, so no matter what, I'll have to see this guy again. I can just tell them no then, so they don't have to feel awkward about saying no now. But when
Kinda
you
know that
show
same
up
approach.
and you have the policy, they're never going to say no.
Yeah,
And-
solidified. But
kinda
you
got the
gotta,
same
and
approach.
you gotta do the work of going out and actually seeing them. Though,
Right.
you know
But
what I
don't
mean?
say you're going to come back
Don't
and
come.
don't come back.
Yeah, then they're not keeping it. Now you just signed up for a little short-term loan.
right.
Um,
I kind
go-
of say I'm just a field underwriter. My job is just come out and see what we can get you, like you said, get you approved for, get your documents sent out to you. I don't do anything with money. Once you get your policy, I can come out and go over it with you.
And guys, they're saying
But one
this when
thing-
they already know there's a need and the person needs it. And they're like, if somebody's sitting there and they don't even have a floor in their home and there's no front door and they have a direct express card,
I don't need that.
you're not using these. But if you're sitting in a $150,000 home and you know they make north of $2,000 a month and they ain't got life, and you know what I mean? Like
all you're doing is helping.
yeah, then it's like what you guys are talking about, and I always want to make that a preference, because like I said, you could use these types of tools we're teaching in the wrong homes and end up with worse placement and persistency.
Right.
You got to make sure you're knowing who you're selling. So only push and only use that approach of that kind of come back, let's close later, or let's get you approved type talk to the people that you know can afford it and that they need it and it's better in their situation.
And
But
Joe, let me explain the homework objection
ahead.
overcoming. So let's say they say, my daughter handles all that, or it's not a good time, or I don't do anything, the first day. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to give us both some homework. So my homework is, no matter what, I'm going to go get us approved for whatever company has the best one in the country for you. Now, your homework, all I'm doing, guys, whatever their objection is, I'm literally assigning them that objection as their homework. So my homework, Ms. Johnson, is I'm going to go get us approved for whatever the best one is in the country. Now, your homework is, I really want you to take some time and think about this, okay? Because it's very important. Or now your homework is, I really want you to take some time and talk to your daughter about this.
yeah,
And so when I come back, I need both of us to do our homework.
Right.
I'm going to do my homework. I'm going to write all this stuff down for you and leave it with you. That way you can do your homework. I want you to talk to your daughter about it. Okay. And then they're always, I don't know why, but whenever I assign them the homework, they're like, okay, yeah, that's good. And number one, all of the objections are lies, right?
yeah,
Then in that, just going off of that, just kind of give them an example too. I'll do that. I'll be like, well, the last thing that I want to happen is for your beneficiary to call me when I leave you my card and let you think about it. And they call me 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later and say, well, my mom passed away.
story.
I see here that you left her some quotes.
Yeah,
She ended up taking out that life insurance with you. And the last thing that I want to do is tell her no, she wanted to think about it. And I just left her quotes.
that's right. And it's
And then I say I've had that happen to me before. And
Yep.
Don't you put that on me.
but
Ms.
it's
Johnson.
guys, stories. And that's why I said use these guys' stories. They've been to thousands of houses. If you're a new agent on here, you don't have these stories yet. Like, guys, I can't tell you how many clients have called me that a pitch pad was left in a house or my card was left in the house, and the kids are calling me just hoping they got some insurance. And like him being able to use that, it's like it brings it back to something real. You have passion behind, belief behind what you're saying to them. And normally you're going to win an argument when whoever believes more in what they're saying is normally going to walk away from the argument, the winner.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like that's part of that. And if you're a new agent, like get obsessed with listening to these stories and using them, because they're real stories. They didn't have to happen to you for you to use them. You know what I mean? Because they've happened to somebody. And so, Bill, what are you kind of doing on that one?
Well, again, back to creating a sense of urgency. You definitely want to go over that they could change in age and the price would go up. Their health could change at any minute. Those are real true things that they could actually grasp. And on a funny note here, if I was on my what do you want to call it, hardcore salesman, and they said they wanted to sleep on it, I'm gonna say, do you got an extra bed for me?
Yeah.
'Cause I ain't leaving.
Yeah,
But,
funny. Jamal
yeah,
came
but-
a couple months or about a month or 3 weeks ago, and he said the same thing. He's like, "These are my family. I'm not going nowhere." So that's
Yeah.
funny. So the next thing I want to kind of do real quick, and we'll start with T, is I want you guys to each share something that's special about what you do that makes you such a high volume producer. And because all of us are confident. If you talk to Bill, you'll know confidence. If you talk to T, confidence. Denquavy, confidence. Buddy, confidence. Frank, confidence. Ben, everybody on here is confidence on these people that are getting good results. And so part of that is believing something about yourself. And whether it's a saying that you use or a knowledge that you have, like what's that one thing that makes you feel like when you show up to the house, it's their privilege to work with you. You know what I mean? So T, what is that for you?
The main thing is I feel like finding a common ground.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite race, all of that doesn't matter. It's all about finding something in common
Yeah.
and building a friendship.
And
You
you
know,
feel like that's the
that's
best
what
thing
does it
you're
for me.
good at. Yeah.
You talk to my house. So,
Bro, dude, I'm not kidding, guys. T has about 13 different what is it called, dialects or voices.
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
and it's
Yeah,
funny, man, because they're all good.
You can tell
Yeah.
which house, what kind of house he's in.
Yeah, you can tell. It's like
White
Gene
person
always
house, black
says
person
he's
house.
wearing a different hat in every
Right.
house.
So I feel like it's all about presentation and the way that you present yourself. So
So
you
you're
got to know what
chameleon.
you're walking into. Yeah. So if
Yeah.
I go to Mr. Bob's house, I
Hello,
need to be
America.
Mr. Bob and whatever he likes. So it's always about finding something that he likes.
That's
So
right.
It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. So if he says, you know, I love this. Me too. Good.
Yeah.
We love it. You know, so it's
Yeah.
all about finding something that you both like.
Trump is
And-
awesome.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
And
it's
he's
all about,
really,
you know,
guys, he gives that personality because I've been in houses with him. I've been on the phone with him. Like, guys, he's an actor. And now T's can be like that in our personal life sometimes too, but most of the time he's not that
Yeah.
I don't even know what the word is, but like that outgoing, I guess. And he uses it, man. He's right. He's a chameleon. So
it's
and-
about building a friendship with the client. Not necessarily like a friendship, but you want them to trust you. It's
Oh,
trust. You know, it all goes to trust and making them feel comfortable.
that's right. All right, D, what you got? What makes you different?
I'm kind of more like a passion person. Like I'm getting people to buy off of really believing in what I'm selling them
Yeah.
and like not leaving out of a house without them having life insurance. 'Cause I really believe in the life insurance.
Yeah.
And the last thing that I want for their family to do is not have life insurance. And then, like I say, they call me or they have to do fish fry or GoFundMe and stuff like that. So
I mean, you've had 2 family members in the past 6 months.
right. So
And
I'm
like-
really my job is really to try to prevent that. And
Yeah.
they'll say that, they'll be like, man, you pushy. But I'm like, I'm not really that pushy. It's just that I really believe in what I'm selling and you need it.
Yeah.
It's gonna help your family.
And at no point, and everyone can speak to this that's ever talked to Denquavy, he ain't raising his voice or getting Denquavy's can be so confrontational with no confrontation. You know what I mean? And that's like the best way to put it. He can be in a house and ask them a question that if any of us asked, it's like, man, I thought they were going to punch you in the face. And it's like, but it's like you ask it in you keep your voice just the right octave, the right delivery, and you can say it and it works.
Right.
So silky. So silky.
I feel like you always want to avoid confrontation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
right.
You're like
Always.
something that D taught me is you always want to use the word help, and you're always with them. You're not.
Simple help. Yep.
It started helping my sales. Like once I started, you know, like even if they say a company, you never want to go against it. You kind of want to, okay, well that's good. You
Yeah.
know?
That's
I
good.
you never
got
wanna,
life
like,
insurance.
You never want to blast.
Oh, that company sucks.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No.
Now you're creating an argument.
Yep.
They've had this company for 5 years. They probably trust this company that you don't know if this
My
company.
pastor wrote me that.
Right. You don't know if this company done paid out to one of their
Primary.
family members. So you don't
Yeah.
want to say no company sucks.
You can't do that.
Right.
All right.
So like what was the actual
So
question?
the actual question
I
is,
gotcha.
what makes you like? What inside of you makes you believe that you're different? Why you've seen the success that you've seen, whether it's a
So-
line or whatever it is.
a lot of people think I like sell through humor, but really it's more of I'm coming as a caregiver, basically. So number one, if any of our families are taking out life insurance, obviously right off the bat, there's someone who is taking care of other people, right?
Yeah.
So, for me, I always say, Ms. Johnson, my heart goes out to you. You're just like me. You seem like you're just the one who always has to take care of everybody else. And every time they're going to be like, yep, I do. And I love that about you. So it seemed like you are always taking care of everyone else. All you need is just somebody once finally to be taking care of you. So while you're taking care of everybody else, what we're going to do, we're going to let my family take care of your family. I'm going to take care of you for now. I don't want you to stress about any of this stuff. And again, what I'm going to do, no matter what, I'm going to go get us approved for whichever one of these companies has the best one in the country for you guys. I work with all of them, but I don't care about them. They got plenty of money. I work with all of them, but I work for you. And so we're going to make sure whichever one does have the best one, that's the one we're going to go with.
Smooth.
And
And
guys,
Smooth
practice.
right
Like
there.
if you're not replaying this video and listening to that, listen to what T said. These and practice it, because I guarantee if you try to push that message out, the message he just delivered, without practicing it in the mirror, it's gonna come
It's
out.
gonna be terrible.
It's gonna be terrible. It's not gonna be convincing. And
I'm gonna
it's-
take care of you.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it. The buddy told me if I tell you I'm gonna take care of you, then you're gonna take out this policy. Like you got to believe it, and you got to look in the mirror and believe it when you're telling yourself that. You know what I mean? And that's huge. Like,
Well, I think one thing is like y'all say, like knowing that you're the professional.
oh
you
yeah,
know, and being confident and vocal.
that's right.
You know, a lot of agents go in and they're like timid and they're overthinking everything instead of just, you
Letting
know,
it flow.
letting it flow.
Being an actual people person. I tell all the new agents,
Don't
be
make
a
it
act-
weird. 'cause
Don't
it's
be a
gonna make it
robot.
weird to
Don't be a
them.
salesman. Nobody want to buy from a salesman. Nobody want to buy from a used car salesman. Like
Connection.
actually be a person.
Yeah.
Like a genuine person.
It's funny because you say that, like, be confident that you know it. And new agents, their response to me every time when I tell them that is, I'm like, go in there like you own the place. But like in a nice way, you own the
Right.
place, but like you know insurance. And they're like, but I don't. I'm like, what do you mean? You have every phone number in your phone of people that you can put on speakerphone that know more about insurance than anybody in the country.
Right.
I'm like, dude, you know everything. You
Make
got
it, do you
Google.
make it?
Yeah, you got Google on your side, man. Like we are your
Yeah.
Google.
You got me on your-
Yeah,
I tell all
exactly.
the agents to call me now.
That's right. All right, Bill, what you got for us? What makes you different? What's your reason for success?
Well, I mean, I'm high energy, that's for sure, and enthusiastic. And really, I'm straightforward with the people. I may be high energy, but when they're talking to me about questions they ask, I'm looking them straight in the eye, and I'm real knowledgeable about it. And I tell them the answer they need to hear. And you know, here's another thing too. Since we're talking about getting in the door, I've had several over the years agents, senior select agents, that is, that are already seasoned agents, ride with me just to kind of see what I do. And JoJo, every one of them said at the end of the day, man, you get in a whole lot more doors than I ever got in. And it's just, again, and I really think a lot of the people, when I go to the door, they let me in because they want to see what I have, because I'm so excited about it and I'm happy, I'm smiling and I'm talking to them, are gregarious and just that kind of, it's infectious, you know, the people want to talk to you. And then when you start talking about the insurance, you know, you got to be real and look them straight in the eye and hold yourself accountable, you know, make sure you're telling them the truth and make sure you're trying to treat them as family. And Frank even hit this too yesterday about when he was talking about how do you treat the customer. If you work on which used to be called the grandmother rule, but I call it the mother rule too, is if you treat that customer as if it's your mother, everything you tell that customer is the same thing you would tell your mother. If she asks you those questions, you're going to be fine. You'll be fine. But again, for me, it's energy and enthusiastic and just loving the business. And a lot of people say that, man, you love what you do, don't you? And I'm just excited just talking about it. Even when they don't buy, I'm hugging on them, walking out the door and all that stuff too. So.
And that's why you get into so many houses, because you're not results based, but the results come.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And the other part that I'll mention to this on every single person that's on here is consistency. The reason why you don't change and you have that heart, whether you write them or not, is because you're not going to leave that house not able to pay your bills because you didn't write them. You know what I mean? So you can still love on them. Whereas when people are in such a financial place where they're at that mental place like that, then man, it's like you're coming off to this person like aggressive and they don't buy, and you're like, man, it's okay. We can leave this person in peace. Like, you know what I mean? And it's like the people that say they're either going to hate me by the time I leave, or I'm like, dude, why they got to hate you? Like, if you got something good, you got a connection problem there, buddy. But it's like I said, it's like that's not an issue for any of you guys, because y'all work consistently. You guys are getting yeses or nos out of all your leads, and that's why y'all write so much. And then you just get on such a pattern of that it's like you going out stress-free, carefree, consistent, and that's why you guys go out with that confidence. And sometimes new agents don't have that yet, and they've got to develop that consistency no matter the results, so they can develop that confidence every day. But hey, Frank, you still out there, buddy? Did we lose Frank? He might have had a conference call. I know we kept it. Yeah, I was about to say we kept him for a minute. Well, great guys. The real quick, just before we let this thing wrap up, we've kept it about an hour. What is it that anybody has question wise for us? If you want to click unmute and ask any of these guys a question, hop on and do so, and we'd love to answer that for you. I always try to open it up for little questions at the end. We'll open it up for a couple minutes. Anybody out there? We must have just gone. We did such a good job.
Yeah.
I was gonna tell Bill every time me and Bill do it.
Hey,
sound like,
JoJo,
gotta go crazy on it.
We got Bryson. What you got, buddy?
give us some pointers for new agents, because this is something that it was a learning curve for me. As far as when people are you're getting to the point in the sale where you got to collect the social and the banking, and give us some tips and pointers on, like, from each of you guys, how do you get around that objective of, oh, I don't give my social out, or I'm not going to give you my banking info until it's approved.
And so first, real quick, and then I'll let you get then Quavy to say to that is I've shot 1 million 3-pointers. So if you pass me the ball to shoot a 3-pointer, I'm letting that thing fly. Right. And so that, I know that sounds crazy, but that's part of it. A newer agent hasn't had that yet. And that's why they struggle with that so much. Whereas when we ask that question, I don't even expect for them to look at me and say no.
Right.
I'm like, hey, go grab a check.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because no one says no to me because I didn't lose them on any part of the sale leading up to asking for a bank account. And so there's no hesitation when I'm saying, hey, what's your social? I'll be in the house 5 minutes. People that ride with me are like, that's insane. I'll be like, hey, what's your social? And like, they'll give it up. But if you don't sound positive, you didn't sound like you knew what you were talking about. When you ask about that social, they ain't giving it to you.
If you're making a big deal, they're gonna make a big deal. Like I don't really feel like I deal with that problem anymore. Like as for the social, I never look up at them. I'm always looking down. So if they take 3 minutes to give me the social, I'm still like, okay, yeah. And then with the bank info, I kind of say, well, you may qualify for a discounted rate. Do you bank with anybody here locally? And you're not lying to them because if they don't got a bank account, you got to put them with Great Western. So that's more expensive than the companies that you have. So I say,
and not only that, a lot of companies actually charge a surplus for doing it by debit instead of doing it by checking account, because there's fees associated with it.
Right. So I'll say, do you bank with anybody here locally? I may be able to get you a banking discount. And then they'll say, yeah, I got Robbins. Okay, well, let me put that in and see if you qualify for the discount. What's that routing number? Or just actually go get me a voided check or a bank statement if you don't have the routing number.
Yeah. And I'm super direct. I'm like, hey, what day is your Social Security coming in? Great. We're starting it on that day. Go grab me a check real quick. And that way I can get your account information on here. It'll make it the most seamless possible.
See, that's going off of confidence though. But like a new agent, they're going to struggle with that.
Oh, yeah, no. But that's because, again,
like,
I'm going back to, I connected going into the house. I came up with a solution that made sense. They're following me because a lot of people that I sell to are able to keep up with what I'm saying.
Right.
And so the people, I promise you guys, I'm not, and that's why if you look at my placement persistency, it's pretty good, is I'm not selling to people that can't understand what I'm saying. You know what I mean? So that when I'm getting to the bank info part, I know that might sound bad and I'm not telling everyone to sell that way, but like, I ain't go get it. Like it's time. That's this part of the transaction. Go get me that bank account information.
I got you though. For like the new agents who don't have that confidence.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. You better get it.
But I mean,
you better get it,
guys. For the social, okay. If you should never even get an objection with the social, because all that means is they don't want it and they're too nice to tell you no.
And like you said, it's a connection.
So right, and you just didn't connect. Right.
There's no rapport.
So if anything you're asking for, social, bank account, it should sound like you're asking like, how's the weather? You know what I mean? What's your birthday, address, social, beneficiary, all that stuff. So the social part is not, there's not really a thing to overcome it, except you got to do something at the beginning to never have that objection. Now the bank info, that'll be more of a real objection, especially for newer agents. Obviously that's the number one thing they're all going to struggle with. And really they're all sitting there doing the presentation in the back of their mind going, oh man, God, at some point I'm going to have to get to it.
Some people like you're not going to get the bank. Though.
Yeah. And again, sometimes it's, you're not going to sell everyone. Sometimes it's just a no, and that's fine. And you move on. But one thing I like to do, I always show my clients, the FEX quotes where, we got all the carriers, all the rates. So I'll tell them, so Ms. Johnson, this is awesome. One thing that I love about my job, we get to work with all these companies and we get to get all of our families the most discounted rates in the country. And they qualify for these because of the disability or Social Security discount. And it's awesome. So we get to get them the best rates in the country. I don't talk about it again And then I'm going through my presentation. We're filling out an application. Now, if I get to the bank info and they say, oh, well, I don't ever give my bank info out, or I'm not comfortable giving out my bank info, or whatever lie they're saying. I'm like, oh, don't even worry about it. So the only reason you have to put that is so that you actually qualify for the disability and the Social Security discount. Obviously they don't just take people's word for it that they're on disability or Social Security. So you have to show where that check goes, because it's going to be tied to that. And that's what enables you to get the discount. So we don't have to do it. But if we get that discount, the price on, the 10,000 is going to be, and I give them $58 a month. Now, if we don't get that discount, the price is going to be, and I write down and I show them the quarterly price. So instead of $58.95, it's going to be $160. And zero of that is a lie. I'm telling them if they don't do the bank account, they're going to have to do a direct bill, the quarterly price. And so if the price for you, if you don't do that, you know what I mean, it's going to be $160, and that's the quarterly price for a direct bill. And so I'm like, then they're like, and I'm like, you know what, here's what I would do. I'll never tell you what to do, but I'll tell you what I would do if I were you. Let's go ahead and make sure we lock in the disability Social Security discount. Now, after you've made the first payment, you can call them and switch it to however you want, but that'll lock in the discount. That way, that's the only way we can kind of get one over on them. Okay.
Oh yeah. Man.
And they're going to do it at that point. Otherwise they're paying the quarterly price,
And that's really good on new agents. It's like funny though, like I was talking earlier, you missed it somewhere else. Like you're not bringing it, you should be during the presentation. They know what it costs. They saw your solution. They agreed to it. The bank account should just be like that's everyone knows that's how you pay for stuff. And so again, that shouldn't be hard. If that's an issue that you're having, then try to slow down on your core, or call your manager in the house, or do stuff like that. What like these guys are giving you advice wise, but ultimately in the next 3 to 6 months, you'd better develop a better sales pitch and a better core. So that way you're not having to beg for bank accounts.
Tell all the new agents what CORE stands for.
Children, occupation, recreation, and emotion. So the first thing I'm doing when I sit down is I'm looking to see if there's pictures on the wall of kids.
Right.
And people use different words. I know Buddy has a different one that he uses that actually Fort. Yep.
Fort. Family, occupation, recreation, transition.
There you go. So, and it's all the same, guys. It's just stuff to talk about. You want to talk about where they worked. You want to talk about their family. You want to talk about connecting type situations where you're connecting with them on something your family does that their family does, or that you did work-wise that they did work-wise. And that way you become a person to them and they start enjoying you. And so that's one thing that every single one of these guys has naturally. They didn't have to come into this, go into their first store and thinking about how do I talk to this person. If you could show up to Bill and he wouldn't know who you were, and if you walked up to him down at the Grand Caymans, he was going to talk to you like he had known you for 10 years. You know what I mean? He's going to, how you been? Like, you know what I mean? And like, Buddy's no different. T's no different. And Quavy's no different. I know Frank's no different. And it's like, if you want to be successful in that career, get good at that. Like, focus on that, practice on that, believe that you're good at that. You know what I mean?
Last thing on the bank account, and just say it's a Hail Mary at this point. You tried everything. This is actually something I heard from a new agent, and it was like so like duh and kind of like simple and whatever. But they were like, why do I have to give out the bank account? And he was like, oh, because it's just the next question on the application. And he's literally showing them the application. He's like, oh, it's just the next part of the application.
That's good.
And they were like, oh, okay. And I mean, it was like, in my head, I was like,
gotcha.
Okay, well, seems stupid, but yeah. And then the client was like, oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'll add something to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, it doesn't happen as much anymore because most people know that most insurance companies, even their car and health insurance, they're going to draft. So it doesn't happen as much as it used to. But if you remember before the draft, it was billing. And so I'll tell a story. We all tell the stories, and this one's true and correct. back in the billing days, if them people didn't make a payment within 30 days, they didn't mail their payment in, the policy lapsed. So what I tell them is so if you go on billing and say there's a Miss Jones years ago, she had a policy for 10 years, and then she's got up in her 70s, she started getting a little dementia and forgetful. She gets the bill in the mail. She puts it in the drawer, and in her mind, she swears she paid that bill. 30 days later, she didn't pay that bill, and that policy would lapse 60 days later. And then she didn't have any coverage. 3 months later, she may fall down and pass away, or your kids come in, find the policy. They say she had it 10 years. All of a sudden they call about it. Well, that policy lapsed 6 months ago. And now, see, this would never happen if you had it on a bank draft, for the fact that you could be, not you, but somebody could be in the crazy home, not even know their name. And then the draft comes out on the first when they get their money in. There's never a problem. And I've closed a lot of them when they gave me that objection by telling that, because it kind of opens their mind up. Oh, you're okay. I see. So that's that works for me.
I used that
I
before
say that
too.
too.
Bill.
But I use like a different approach. I kind of say, well, what if you were to get hospitalized? If you were to get hospitalized and you try to send in a rate bill, the last thing your family's going to be focused on is trying to see if you got life insurance. They're going to be at the hospital focused on you. So therefore, we need to put it on a direct bill. So that way,
Direct
draft. So that way,
your
payment come out every month. And the insurance companies do that to protect themselves.
That's right. And protect the clients.
One thing for new agents, if say they're like, I got Direct Express, and they don't want to give you the number. If that happens again, you still connect good. But I always tell them, oh, well, don't worry. I don't want the whole number. I just want the last 12 digits, because the first 4 are 5332. And so you just tell them, don't ever give anyone the full number, but just the last 12. That's how they assign, and they can tell from that you have the disability or Social Security.
There you go. That's hilarious. I hope you guys listen to that.
That's
for
good.
anybody that's Direct Express business out there, because that's funny. You're like, oh, I don't need the whole thing.
Never give out the full number.
You better never give that.
Just the last 12.
That's funny. All right, guys. Any other questions anybody out there has, or any comments you guys want to leave the folks with this week? I feel like we did a good job busting down the door and the in-home approach. Any type of questions anybody has out there, this is your time to ask. All right, y'all. Well, I hope everyone has a blessed week. We will see you next Friday. I'll be excited to bring that to you guys. And like I said, hope everyone killed it this week, and have a great weekend, y'all. Be good.
Good deal. Appreciate it, guys.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for coming on, Bill.
Yes, sir.
Bill,
Thanks, JoJo.
you're
Delay.
great,
Hey,
Bill.
everybody be cool.
All
See
right,
y'all
man.
soon. Oh, see y'all Friday at the golf tournament.
See,
yeah.
man.
All right, guys.